This is episode 6 of the Expert's Guide to Empires and Puzzles. NittanyLionRoar here, and I'm going to be talking about making attack teams today. And there's 3 different theories I'm going to talk about. There's probably more ways to do this than 3, but these are the 3 primary ones. And that is building 3-2 teams, 4-1 teams, and mono teams. And that has to do with the colors that you use. For example, 3-2 means 3 heroes of one color, 2 of another. 4-1 means 4 of one color and 1 of another. And then mono, as you can probably tell, means that you're going to take a team of all the same color. Alright, so let's take a look at some heroes and edit a team to show you what I mean by that. So let me just delete out what I have here. Okay, so a 3-2 team, for example, would be like taking Eve, Liana, Sashat, and another purple hero like Regard. So that is a 3-2 team. The benefit of the 3-2 team is that it allows you to take best advantage of your troops as compared to the other 2, and to take better advantage, I think, of the hero specials. So you generally want to take 3 strong colors versus the tank, and then ideally 2 of the strong color versus the flank. So this would be a good team against a blue tank like Eager and a yellow flank like Drake. So that's generally the thought process behind this. Now the reason it's better on troops is because you can see I have 2 highly leveled troops here. There's 1 on Sashat, and then there's 1 on Eve there. And that allows me to bring in 2 really high troops. And like I said, this also works well with specials because when there tends to be a theme with all of the heroes. They tend to be really similar within a color, like they have similar effects. Like, for example, there's a lot of purple cleansing going on. So if you have an even split, that means that you can generally take specials from both the colors and put them together in a way that's going to have a lot of synergy. So, of course, if we wanted to go 4-1, it would look something like this. Now, the strength of the 4-1 is that it gives you the tile strength of mono teams, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but allows a fallback color to protect you. So, for example, if I take this into a battle that has a blue tank, then it's going to probably be pretty easy to beat the blue tank with any green tiles that I get. I typically only have to make 1 match with this to be able to kill a blue tank. And yeah, I still have this 1 color. I've got a Regard to help protect me in case those green tiles just don't come. That way I can try to keep the team alive for a while. And if you're going 4-1, you generally want that 1 to be a healer of some kind. Regard is a good choice. With all the Kunchins going around, Kirill is another good choice because I don't know if you've noticed, but Kirill undoes Kunchin's special. So if Kunchin goes off, then you fire Kirill and it gives you a higher defense again. Also, you can go mono. There's certainly a lot of really good players and really good players in my alliance who like to go mono. So that could look something like this. And the strength of going mono is that your tiles are very, very high damage dealing tiles. And if you take this into a battle, you don't even need a blue tank. You can really take a mono team into any color tank and do pretty well with it. Maybe not against ones where the color of the tank you're weak to. Like, for example, I might not want to take this in against red, but you can often kill heroes with a mono team without even firing a special. So if you do get a bad board, sometimes you can just at least make a couple of matches and kill a hero until you can get the rest of your tiles. There is a caution with these mono teams, though, and that's that they're a lot more swingy, as bad boards can just totally screw you. So, like, if you go in against Kunchin with this and you just don't get... You really need to make at least 3 matches with a team like this in order to be able to take Kunchin out completely. And if you only get 2 and there's a sliver of Kunshin still alive and he goes off, then all of a sudden you're going to be in big trouble. So there's benefits and there's negatives to all 3 of these different strategies, and it's worth you just trying it out on your own and seeing what works for you. For most of my time playing, I've been doing 3-2. And of course it looks a lot like this. Or, for example, another team I like to make that's 3-2 looks a lot like this. And these 2 teams I just showed you are nice because they have a defense debuffer, and then a couple of heroes to snipe and just kill with the defense debuff. So for most of the time I've been playing, I've been doing 3-2. I see that works against pretty much all heroes and tanks in the game, except, and I've been talking about Kunshin a little bit, I've been finding more success going 4-1 against Kunshin. And obviously if I go in with a team like this, it's going to be a lot easier to kill a Kunshin tank because, well, the yellow tiles are going to do a lot of damage against him, and then Regard can heal the effect if I don't get to kill Kunshin before he goes off. So obviously this does well against Kunshin, but not only that, there's other teams that do well against Kunshin too, and that's doing something like this. Where I can get Frida to go off, and then I can basically just use Elysium Missandra to either finish Kunshin off or keep going. So I do think there's a benefit to 4-1-2. I'm still experimenting with this. If you want to go see my other video, I did 4-1 the whole way through a purple tank war and did pretty well with it. I only had one really awful hit with it, but that's a good example of how these 4-1 teams work. And then mono I do once in a while, but not usually. I tend to stay away from mono, but that's just because it's not a strategy that matches up with my strengths. Alright, so let's talk about synergy a little bit, because I alluded to it, and I've got some synergy going on here. When you're building a team, you want to make sure that the heroes' specials go well together. You can just put in a bunch of like random heroes, but that's not necessarily gonna be good for you. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take the team I had just built and build a team that looks similar but doesn't have a whole lot of synergy. And that's going to be something like this. Okay. This is a much worse team than before because I've got, first of all, 3 healers and only 2 damage dealers. But somebody might reasonably try to put something together like this, and this still just doesn't have a whole lot of synergy. And that's because Ariel and Regard basically do the same thing, so I don't have a diversity of specials going on there. And Frida, who's an elemental debuffer, and King Arthur, who's an elemental debuffer, tend to do the same thing. Now, I could probably find some success with this team, but it's going to be better if I mix up the specials and put heroes together where I'm more likely to maximize the amount of damage I'm going to be able to do. Probably an even worse team than this one is actually if I try to go put some snipers in like this. Then I have no elemental debuff at all. I just have a couple of damage dealers and a couple of cleansers. So it's not good enough just to string a few 5-star heroes together and pray and hope for the best. You really got to make sure that they have synergy. So let's talk about some of the specific synergies that you're looking for. One of the first ones is looking for stacking effects. So I alluded to this in the team that had the really good synergy, and that was when I had Frida and Athena in here. Now let's go with this. There are a couple of stacking effects here that are important. One is that Frida is going to do an elemental debuff against the enemies, meaning that they get negative 54% defense against ice for 4 turns. That means all my blue tiles and blue specials are going to do even more damage. But Athena also decreases the enemy's defense by negative 41%, or further 4% decrease every time they're hit for 4 turns. Those effects stack. meaning I can get the negative 41% and the negative 54% on top of each other, meaning the opponent's defense is really, really far down. Then it makes it really easy to kill opponents with my Alacia or my Missandra, or just a couple of tiles, putting them together, a couple blue tiles. So that's one stacking effect. Another stacking effect, I wish I had Zimkeitha to show you, but I can do this with Ranveer and Bold Tusk as well. So we got Ranveer and Bold Tusk. And like, let's say I was just putting together like I'm gonna put together just like a random kind of team like this. This one has some synergy going on too, in that Wilbur turns down the defense of the opponent, just kind of like Athena does. So the defense is down. Here's the stacking effect. Bold Tusk gives everybody plus 48% attack for 4 turns. Now if I had Zimkeitha, that would be even better than Bold Tusk, but I'm just going to put that in as an example. Zimkeitha and Bold Tusk basically do the same thing where they increase your team's attack. And then there's Ranveer, and this could be Wukong as well, but Ranveer gives allies 195% attack and negative 35% accuracy that only applies when the enemy has more HP than the attacker. Well, this attack boost and Bold Tusk's attack boost stack on top of each other. So now you're doing just about 250% attack if the specials land. And if it lands on a hero that has more health. So those are stacking effects. There are probably a few more in the game if you really look for them, but those are the main stacking effects, attack and defense debuff. As you're building teams with synergy, you also want to make sure to look for heroes that protect and extend gameplay for slower heroes. So this is especially true if you're getting down way late in the war, and you're on your like 4th team, 5th team, 6th team, and you're using heroes that are not ideal. Let's say I've got like Quintus and Kunshin and Sartana. Well, you want to look for heroes that are going to extend the gameplay a little bit. So that could be like Zaylene, who's going to do attack down for the opponent, maybe even Richard. Delilah is a hero that extends the gameplay because of her healing and minions. I really like Delilah on the attack. She's a fantastic attacking healer. Igra is another one. I don't have him, but he's going to increase the defense of your heroes, and the opponent's basically just not going to be able to kill you unless they have a big area of effect hero. And then Magni's another good one because he can go off quickly. I don't have a leveled Magni, but I wish I did. I have an unleveled Magni. I would never take him into battle like this, but you can get him to go off pretty quick, and then he's going to protect the heroes next to him. So if you're trying to keep Kunshin alive to heal the team, I could stick him in here and try and keep the healers alive, or try to keep my slow heroes alive while I'm building up some mana, stuff like that. Even Regard and Kirill, they'll tend to keep your team alive. So I was showing you on the 4-1 teams how I tend to go with a Regard in there. And that's because Regard will keep the team alive until I get all the tiles I need to set everybody off, if I'm not getting the red tiles that I need in a situation like this. But also Kirill is good, especially with the Kunshin tanks, because he'll at least increase your defense for a while, heal you, and increase your defense for a little while until you can get another special off. And the last thing, so I've talked about stacking, I've talked about heroes that extend gameplay. The last thing you're looking for are cleansers and dispellers. You're going to notice that on most everybody's defenses, and you probably do this too, you have heroes that can cause defense down to the opponent or attack down, or Zim gives everybody an attack bonus. So you want to be able to dispel and cleanse some of these things. So that's another reason why I was showing you some of the examples of teams that I was putting together. Like, for example, if I do Eve, Liana, Sashat, and Regard. Look at the synergy this team has. I have a Dispeller who can take away opponents' buffs. I have another Dispeller that can take away opponents' buffs. And I have a Cleanser who can clear myself of like Gravemaker or Zaleen or other heroes that cause, like Athena, cause my defense to go down. Regard will clean all of that. And in fact, that's a reason why I have 4 maxed Regards, is because everybody we fight in war seems to have Gravemaker and Zaleen, or other heroes that do things like that. So, and Kunshin, of course, Kunshin. So that's a team that has good synergy. Another one that I showed you was with Frida, Lacey, and Missandra. This has the same kind of synergy. I could go with Ariel, and she would be my Cleanser, and I could go with another random hero like Wilbur, for example. So Wilbur stacks with Frida and the defense down. She gives an elemental defense down. He gives a regular defense down. And then all of a sudden, these guys are doing a whole lot of damage. Okay, now I don't typically run a 4-1 team like this. The only time I run the 4-1 team with Wilbur is when I do my red and purple one, but that's certainly a synergy that you can look for, is something like that. I think Wilbur goes best, and this is exactly why I do Wilbur on the red team that I showed you, is because Wilbur goes well with these heroes that I'm using. If you're going to play with Wilbur, you want to have area of effect heroes. Like Guardian Kong does damage to everybody, 220% damage to everyone, and his attack is really high. I don't know if y'all noticed that, and he's only average. I think he's underrated, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't think he's good, but I think he's underrated, especially on a team with Wilbur. In fact, go watch some of my videos with my 4-1 red team. This team tends to crush, and it's pretty awesome. So Wilbur gives everybody defense down, and then all of a sudden Guardian Kong does a ton of damage, and Anzo does a ton of damage because he hits all the enemies with 215% damage. And you gain that much life. So Wilbur's defense down now means I'm gaining more life. And Gravemaker, of course. So Gravemaker's burn then is causing damage to everybody. So some of the cleansers and dispellers you're looking to put in here on teams like this are Frida, Evelyn I showed you, Guardian Panther, who I don't have, but she does the same kind of thing, Ariel I showed you. Zimkeitha, sometimes people forget she's a cleanser, but in addition to her attack boost, she's also a cleanser, and she's fast. Zimkeitha is just really, really good. Regard and Sabina, and maybe on offense, Vivica or Vivisha and Kunshin. How do you say that name? I'm going to go look, because I know that somebody's going to complain in the comments that I say her name wrong. Vivica? I think it's Vivica. So, Vivica and Kunshin are both cleansers. They're fine on offense. The only problem is I think that they're a bit slow. They're really hard to make go off. Now, Kunshin being really fat, he's got an 815 defense and 1437 HP, and that's before you even put emblems on him. He can probably survive to go off. I don't take him a whole lot on offense, but he can probably survive. Vivica's going to have problems because her defense is not as high and her health is not as high either. So those two are okay, but I don't typically recommend them all that much. All right, let's go back to the team and talk about one more thing that you're looking to do as you build these teams, and let's talk about it like a 3-2 team. I'm going to go with Evelyn, Liana, let's go Sashat, and Regard. Look at your troops. Be very intentional about where you're putting those troops. So Regard is average you want to put a big mana troop on him so that he goes off. That basically what I did was I just made Regard fast here by putting the troop on him. If I go with Frida, Alicia, and Missandra, then I want to make sure that big mana troop is on Frida because she's average, and the big mana troop, as long as these big mana troops are above level 23, are going to make her fast. So now Frida is basically fast. Alicia's fast, Missandra's fast, Shot's fast, and now I made Regard fast too. So basically everybody's fast. And that's what you need to do when you're building teams. I could put this big mana troop on Alicia, and I could put this big mana troop on Sashat, but now the team is worse because now Frida's going to go off a turn slower and Regard's going to go off a turn slower. Now it's like I have 3 fast heroes and 2 slow ones, or average ones I should say, but they feel slow. And this doesn't really make Sashat or Alicia any faster. I think it's just going to go down to like 7 tiles for them to go off, but you're going to benefit much more by doing it this way. So be really intentional about who you're putting your troops on. If I show you my red team again, I have an extra fast hero here. I've got average, 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 but I have 2 mana troops here. So I'm going to take the big mana troop, and I want Wilbur to be fast. Wilbur at fast is just amazing. And I want to put my level 11 mana troop on Gravemaker because that level 11 mana troop is going to make him go off even faster. So now I've got like a super duper fast Gravemaker, and I've got a fast Wilbur, and then average Guardian Kong, average Anzo, and a fast Regard. But I can, again, make this team totally bad by putting this level 11 troop on Anzo, and perhaps putting like the level 24 troop on Guardian Kong. If you're just not paying attention to your troops, you can unintentionally make your team a lot worse. So the troops are really, really important. And you notice I'm talking about mana troops a lot. If you're interested in more information about the troops, go watch my troops video. I talk a lot about it there. Okay, so let's go fight some raids. Here's my tip for the day, by the way. Skip your hero chest, you get more ascension mats by doing that. So let's start with like a 3-2 team. Well, we have a purple tank. I don't think that's a good example for 3-2. I don't think that one's a good example for 3-2 because, like I said, with Kunshin, I've been tending to go 4-1 recently. Alright, I think this is a good one. Let's do Eve, Liana, and Sashat, and Regard. Now, the reason I'm going this way is because, let's see, I'm going to move my troops around. Richard is the tank, so I'm going with 3 greens, and then we have a June flank, so that's why I'm going 2 purples. And also we've got Eve, who can dispel Zim's special. And we've also got Regard, who can cleanse Richard's special. Alright, and also Sashat up there. She can clear away Zim's special too. I can't promise these raids are going to go well. I can just show you how to put the team together and what my thought is. So this is the first one. This is the 3-2 strategy. No promise I can win these, though. It's going to depend on luck as well as the... But, you know, if you construct teams better, you make yourself more lucky. You're going to find that you're winning more if you're able to do that. Okay, see, I'm trying to find places where I can mash greens together. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright, now watch this synergy. So Eve will kill Richard. Then I'm going to go with my Liana that has the bigger attack. So let's see, that one's 903, this is 874. I'm going to use the Liana with the bigger attack to kill June. That's how I'm using my team to my advantage. And then of course the other Liana to kill Sertana. See that? Eve was exactly the reason I was able to kill those front three heroes. Because Eve worked with Liana. Plus Liana. Good synergy. Alright. Zim goes off, but the shot makes the buff. Synergy. If you build a team with good synergy, you're gonna find that you get lucky more. You get specials at the right time. Okay, now let's go down, and I think I'm going to try a 4-1 team here. A 4-1 team with synergy. Okay, so let's do... Jackal is my defense debuffer. I'm going to do Ramveer, Drake, and then I'm going to go find my Sabina. Let's make Sabina fast by putting the mana troop on her. We want to make sure that the level 12 mana troop, it doesn't have to be level 12, it can be level 11. We need to make sure that's on Jackal. I'm gonna put a crit troop on that Drake just for better survivability and hopefully to get some crit damage in there. But I think I want that one to be an attack, higher attack mana. A mana troop with a higher attack. Okay, that's good. Now, this is going to be a little bit more swingier than the 3-2 team. I have to have yellow tiles, but if I get them, I should kill Cage pretty quick. And then also, Sabina, I added her here as the 1 because she's a healer. She can help keep my team alive. But she will dispel Magni's buff and Cyprian. I have no idea why they have a Cyprian on the end. Sorry if this is your team, but that seems pretty bad to me. Okay. Let's see how this one does. Alright. That's good. I'm just eyeing this up to see if there's any obvious way to get even better tile damage here. I don't know. I think we just do this. And see, he's almost dead already. Okay. I'm going to try to make this match to get a yellow to come up the middle, if I can. And I was not able to. How much life does he have left? I can make a red diamond. But Cage is going to do a lot of damage to me. I can also try to make a purple match, but I don't know that's enough to kill, because only one tile is going to hit Cage. And then I don't get the red diamond. I think I just do this. Nice! Oh man. That rogue ability is so good. Alright, And this is where building a team with synergy and making sure you put troops on the right heroes matters, because I'm going to make... This is only my second connection, and I've already killed a hero, and now I have a hero special firing. I'm going to fire that into Frida. The defense debuff now allows me to make this yellow connection, which knocks her health pretty far down. Which one has less attack? 885, 865. I think I can kill with that. Good. I will do this one. Okay, and here's one of the downsides of 4-1 is it's going to take me a long time now to get yellow tiles back up. So I'm going to try it. But this yellow connection here should kill Cyprian just with 2 tiles. Okay. And that is showing you the strength of the 4-1 team. Is that it only took 2 tiles to totally finish off a purple hero. Not a good purple hero, but you know. Alright, and then perfect. Alright, and let's try to go mono. It's the only thing I'm going to do differently here. You're going to see exactly why. Mono, it's really hard to have synergy with mono because you don't have as many choices. I mean, I could add in Vivica and have a cleanser. I could add in Gwen and mess with their mana a little bit, but I think Delilah's just better. Also, another point, I'm going to move the crit troop onto Delilah, and that is because it gives a health bonus and makes her minions bigger. Alright. Mono, you're all in. So, it's really tile dependent. But any yellow match is going to do quite a bit of damage. Alright, just scanning the board here. I think the other thing with mono is you tend to not want to make the matches right away either, because then you run out of them, and then it's not good. So see, now this will make 2 matches right away, and I should be able to kill Kenshin. Who should I kill? Red Hood or Inari? Not kill, but I need to pick on one of them. I think she's more annoying. Watch how much damage mono will do to not even a purple hero, just a off-color hero. And then one yellow match just totally finishes off a yellow hero. I'm gonna go after Magni to get the most out of this. Alright, there it is, the 3 different theories. I'm sure there are more theories out there than just those 3, but those are the 3 main ones, and how you put the teams together and put it into action. Alright, thanks for watching.